we're gonna do the Simul today. Let's see if people show up. Okay, so let's do a really quick recap of the last World Cup final, just to conclude it. It finished 3 days ago. Yeah. So Fabi wins the match versus Abbasov. Pretty strange match. I think we saw these games, right? So we have to look at some tiebreaks. So on the tiebreaks is we had this Italian. White is a little bit better, but you know, black certainly can. Yeah, apparently knight f3, f6, queen h4, and then d4. That actually looks pretty good, yeah. Because knight on h5 kind of is very bad. And if you play 5 here, there's no threat because of the spin. Yeah, d4 looks very natural. Then take, and then you're threatening this, potentially knight to e5. Yeah, maybe black can survive, especially with the bishop is getting closed here, yeah. Yeah, it's still some problems for black. I imagine that, you know, yeah, a lot of tactics, a lot of pins, a lot of forks coming. Yeah, it's not very pleasant. Yeah, so knight f5 looks very aggressive, a little bit hyper aggressive, and king g7 is. And that's it. Black keeps the center. The bishop is closed. Black is not better by means, but because knight is still in the corner. But black is fine, yeah. Yeah, I imagine e4 makes a lot of sense actually, but okay. See, he missed queen f6, yeah. And now you have to trade the queens because you really don't want to trade the queens, but there is knight e3 here. That's the problem. That's what he missed, because if you play c4, you keep queens on board, and with the queens on board, white still has some pressure. Because if knight goes to f4 somewhere here, first of all, it's impossible because of f6. I was just thinking maybe f6 first, but if knight f4, then it's just g3. Yeah, so the knight is still pretty bad. So imagine knight f6 or something, and then rook e1, yeah. White really needs the queens because he went into the endgame, and in the endgame with the bishop closed, black is just better. Yeah, black is just better. The structure is better for black. Yeah, he's trying to knight g8, very nice. c3, reasonable. Knight c4 immediately. Bishop c2 is very strange. Why would you put your bishop from the active position? He was afraid of knight c5, but yeah, knight c4, knight d6 is possible. So this I really don't like. You're weakening your king. You can just play g3, king g2, h4, rook d2. You know, king f3, play very safe trade, everything, make a draw. Instead he plays for a win, and black is just better. I like this rook e6 move. Just in case there is no knight f5 tricks. Okay. Rook f6 again, very nice. White looks better, but yeah, but rook goes to h4, knight goes to f4, and just, yeah, this is just a blunder, but it's not easy to defend this position already. Hey. Hey, what's up? All right, so that was the first knock, the first, yeah, and Magnus just won was black, and he needs to draw with white. He plays c3 against Sicilian, and that's it. This is the line that white is actually a little bit better, but after d5, just total draw. Yeah, he just needs to make a draw with white, and he accomplishes this pretty easily. Just Destroys everything, extra pawn. Superior pieces actually, nice is bad. Active rook. Bad king. Yeah, okay, it's draw, but you know, black is worse. So, yeah, this was a very kind of weird match. But again, he won in the final. He didn't beat Prague like in the main classical game format. He beat him in the tiebreaks. This match was pretty bloody interesting. We covered this game, yeah. I didn't cover the tiebreaks. The tiebreaks were just a disaster for Abbasov. No, actually, I think I did cover it. Knight c6, very interesting. Yeah, I played like this in the friendly blitz games on chess.com under my second account. I play knight f6, knight c6, e5 in every game. I didn't imagine Fabiano would play this in the playoff game against the strong grandmaster. But the advantage of the system is that he managed to completely take Abbasov of any opening prep, and black is better, pair of bishops. Humongous pressure with especially this bishop is a monster bishop. This is weak, but if you open anything, the dark squares will just destroy white, yeah? So rook c5, very nice, bishop e5. Queen b4, another very, very nice move, brings the queen to h4, and it becomes clear that white has 0 attack chances here. And with this bishop on e5 alive, and none of these knights can challenge the bishop, it's just completely lost. Yeah, I mean, you had to play knight e2 or knight here, knight f4, and block this bishop. I think he just completely collapsed here. Rook c3. Not really sure why this is so good, but I mean, if you take, yeah, queen h4. Simple. Mate, yeah? Okay. So just simple tactics, because we play queen h4, he plays knight e2 and protects the knight, so you take. So the guy played knight f5, but you just, you know, white has 0 attack, black has everything, yeah? Yeah, that was pretty sad game, actually. Now, Abbasov played this whole tournament pretty well, but in these last 2 games, yeah, and this is a very famous line. And what I played was black recently. I took and played knight b4, forcing the game to the queen into the endgame. But of course, if you need to win with black, you don't do that. But if you don't do that, after knight f6, bishop e3, this is a very safe advantage for white. He plays this move, but I like bishop f4 and h3, very simple chess. Force the weakness. Pawn on d4 is gone, +3 for whites. Huge weaknesses. Pawn cannot be held. King is open. Black is completely lost. Yeah, I like the accuracy here. King f8, rook d1, perfect accuracy. c3, take the knight, and that's it. Complete disaster. Black does not survive the opening. Just like in the previous game, yeah? Abbasov just did not survive the opening, which was extremely strange considering how well he played the whole tournament. But these 2 games, he just played way below his level. Queen g7, resigns, yeah. Alright, so that was the end of the World Cup. Now we have another tournament in progress. Speed Championship, I'm not going to cover it. We have World Rapid Team Championships. Apparently, this tournament is open to everybody. You can just basically make your own team, apply for it, and play here. And it's in Germany, which is very close. I didn't know about it. If I knew about it, I would ask my club to play. But it's okay, because you have so many amazing people playing, yeah? You have 36 teams. I thought they were looking for 50 teams, but I think 36 teams is pretty good enough. You have a lot of German teams, obviously, because it's in Deutschland. Yeah, but we have, we have Ukrainian, Kenyan. Oh, we have French team. Oh, smart. I didn't know that. Okay. FIDE team, Chess Pensioners, I like that. Yeah, a lot of great teams. Hey Virginia, what's up? Yeah. I don't know about Magic being the GOAT, but he screwed up all those people he played in the World Cup, and by taking away their chances to qualify for the candidates. Because if he didn't play, I think Gukic and Keimer, they all had chance to be in the final. And now, you know, they have to compete in the Grand Swiss for one spot. Even two spots, it's amazingly difficult. The Grand Swiss is a completely different event. A lot of things there which don't depend on you. So I really doubt they're gonna win that because there'll be so many people playing there. They cannot qualify by rating. So these guys were screwed, and they have to wait another 2 years for a chance to qualify. 2 years is a long time. So I really don't want to talk about this win by Magnus. He adds this last missing title, but he behaves like, you know, like the famous kings in the past. Yeah, I don't care about anybody, I just care about myself. Okay, fine. And the way he played, it was also not impressive. You know, he almost lost to Keimer, then he, I think he did beat Gukic, but okay, let's take a look. He basically just, what he did the whole event, he drew the classical games and he just beat everybody in the tie breaks. It's not exactly dominating performance, you know? So I don't think it has to be something he'll be really proud of. I don't think this is the event he will be really proud of. Let's see it again. Where was it? Results. So he beat Prague in the tie breaks. Okay, he beat Abasov. He beat Gukic in the prime. Vasily he beat in the prime. Okay, so maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, but Keimer he definitely beat in the tie breaks, and okay, and he beat his countryman. Yeah. Okay. So he beat Georgian 2-0, beat in the meantime. Okay, so I was not entirely correct. He did beat Keimer in this tough match. Yeah, he could have been eliminated, which means, you know, this guy had a really big chance to qualify, and it was stolen from him. So next, he beats Vasily Ivanchuk. Okay, he beat him 2-0. Fair. Right, this was a very strange match. The first game. Yeah, this was very, very strange. Oh yeah, that's where the Gukic lost the endgame, right? He lost this rook endgame. Incredible, actually. Yeah. That was actually very weird. And he also beat Basov in this. Okay, so yeah, okay, let's be fair. Yeah, this is pretty good performance. Yeah, beating a lot of people in classicals. Only 2 matches go to tie breaks. I mean, he could have played against Prague also in the classical games. Yeah, but he wanted to take it to the tie break for some reason. That's fine. Yeah. Still, yeah. Still, he got very lucky, you know, that he didn't meet Corona in the whole World Cup. You know, that was kind of weird. Yeah, talking about the brackets. In this bracket we have Corona, Dominguez, Erigasi, and we also had Nakamura in this bracket, right? Yeah, there was a good chance Carlsen could have played Nepo, but Nepo lost to Vidit, and Vidit lost to Abasov, which was very strange. Yeah, this was kind of a strange game. Abasov playing actually London against Vidit, and Vidit losing this equal position. Yeah, this was very strange move. You know, Vidit is usually so solid, but here he plays this move. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm trying to understand if he castles here. He's just a pawn down, okay. So what happened? Right, so this knight d5 move was wrong here, yeah. Bishop c6, takes, rook fe1, h6, rook d1, castles. White is a little bit better, but looks should be a draw, yeah. Yeah, but white is a little bit better. Alright guys, let's do the simul. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but again, I think they should actually have all these guys play for the qualifier spot and not just give it to Abbasov for free. Yeah. Because it's bloody ridiculous. Obviously, Magnus not playing the candidates, obviously. I mean, he can still surprise everybody, but, you know, I mean, if he's gonna play the spoiler, why not play in the candidates, yeah? Actually, I think that's what he should do. You know what should be a big statement? If he plays in the candidates, he wins the candidates, and then he doesn't play the World Chess Championship match. Now that would be a complete spoiler, yeah? Now that would be the best thing he can do right now. Because if he stops being a spoiler, because he spoiled World Cup, yeah? And he spoiled the previous World Chess Championship match. So far he spoiled two biggest events in the FIDE qualifying cycle. He spoiled the World Chess Championship match, and now he spoiled the World Cup. So it makes perfect sense if he spoils the Grand Swiss and the candidates, yeah? I think he should just play in all these events, qualify everywhere, win everything. I don't think he won the Grand Swiss yet, okay? Yeah, I think that if he's like collecting all those titles, yeah, isn't the Grand Swiss title like also pretty important? Shouldn't he play there? You guys know what I mean? Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense if he plays. If he doesn't play, then why play in the World Cup? Yeah, because the World Cup and Grand Swiss, you know, okay, they are like sort of equal in stature. So, what we want now, we want Magnus to win the Grand Swiss, and then we want him to win the candidates, and then he completes the chess. Yeah, then it's a full circle. And then he doesn't play for the title, yeah. And then we have the same situation. Well, you know, he should. You know why he should play the candidates? Because then he definitely spoils Nepo's chance to qualify for the World Chess Championship match for the third time. Yeah, we need a new challenger. I'm like, I saw Nepo twice playing for the World Chess Championship title. I'm not impressed. Yeah, I want to see new blood. I want to see new face playing for the World Chess Championship title. Okay. So if we can ask Magnus at least this courtesy, you know, after being such a huge despoiler, you know, ask him to, you know, win the candidates and knock out Nepo from the challenger's seat and make somebody else to play. Yes, because he beat people in his bracket, which could have had very serious chances to qualify for the candidates. I think both Keimer and Gukish, they had huge chances to qualify for the candidates if they didn't meet him in the bracket. Okay, so that was the biggest problem. And you know what? It's not. I don't care about it anymore because, you know, people not talking about it. Like, I need it. I don't need it. Yeah, I'm just trying to be, you know, fair to the players and just remind people that, you know, I understand that the world now is like very selfish and greed is good, you know, You know, getting the title is more important than, you know, keeping the fair qualification cycle in check. Okay. That's the current dynamics in the chess, and not just chess, yeah? But, you know, still need to talk about these things, yeah? All right. Okay, so as been mentioned before, so right now the fair thing for Magnus to do would be to play both in the Grand Swiss candidates and, you know, and then not play the World Chess Championship title. That would complete the trick. All right. Naka read my post on the stream and agreed. Okay, great. Awesome, thanks. Well, it's pretty amazing that Naka actually, you know, agreed with it. Yeah, I thought he didn't care about my chess, yeah. He's just a streamer now. But, you know, now that he's a streamer, he can actually talk about stuff, yeah. And he is also too large. You know, they can't just ignore him, yeah. So maybe we should give you know, this role of fairness maker and judge to the Nakamura, yeah. Make him a chess judge of the things chess wise, politics or not, of FIDE. All right, guys, let me get to the Simul because it's already 10:13. Yes, okay, I see the challenges. Andromeda. Let's go. All right, so the World Cup. Well, sure. Sure. Yeah, why do you think I have a general good outlook on Nakamura compared to all the other players? Because, you know, we've been playing in chess together like for 2 decades, yeah. He's a 5-time US chess champion, just like myself. The only thing missing is that he didn't compete for the World Chess Championship title, but he's been top 5, top 10 player like for the last 2 decades. Yeah. Yeah, I hope he qualifies for the candidates because last time, you know, he should have. Last time was crazy, yeah, because he just came in half a point behind Ding or Nepo, and he could have played the match. Yeah, easily. The World Chess Championship title. All right, Martin's Kane. Yes, you did. You gotta make 2 moves, man. The game gets aborted. Nope, we don't. But you know, we're just chess colleagues. Yeah. We're not like on friendly terms. We have never been friends, but you know, we're colleagues. Yeah. Chess is like profession and a passion. If you don't have passion for chess, then I don't know if you can, you know, get to the top 10 in the world, like ever. Yeah. You need to have the passion for your work, or at least passion for playing the game. All right, let's see. I have games here. Magical Intuition. Well, whatever. You know, I'm kind of starting to get very disappointed in Magnus. Because a lot of stuff he says and then things he does, they just contradict each other. I guess the guy tries to find his new purpose in life now that he completed chess. Yes, you know, we all make mistakes, it's fine. But it's just the bigger figure you are, the bigger influence you have, and the bigger role model you are, you kind of have a little bit more responsibility for your actions. You know what I mean? All right, Sanvino. Wait, who is Sanvino? Wait. Who is Sanvino? Oh, here. Okay. Hey, what's up? Right. Good. Maybe. Who knows? Yeah. Well, I think, the scary thing is really approaching is that once you hit 30s, like you again completed chess and everything, yeah. But then there is the bigger question. Because being a world chess champion or being famous or being a genius does not guarantee you from having a happy family life, yeah. Especially for the chess players, kind of crazy. Not a lot of chess players are happy in their private lives. Yeah, because the ego thing is immense, yeah. Especially the bigger you are, so you have to find a significant half which would be that understands you 100%, supports you 100%. That's so hard, man. It's possible, I guess. So there are different quests now. Yes, and for the chess players especially difficult, yeah, because we lack the social skills. So the most logical thing would be if you find a female partner from the same profession, but it's not gonna be easy, yeah. All right, so anyway, we're not discussing other people's private lives, yeah. We're not going for that. But no, just based on my personal experience, I consider myself pretty successful chess player, professional in the past. But when it came to my personal life, I was like, so many mistakes, yeah. So many mistakes. With huge effect also. Yeah. Oh well, Yep. No, but I'm just curious why we're not humans like given this ability, yeah, to see the consequences of their actions, to see like the future. And because then would it make more sense? Then people will understand right from wrong and direct consequences and make correct choices, and everybody will be happy. So that's the problem with the theological aspect of life, yeah. And then because then the evolution, if we consider evolution theory, right? I mean, then we understand why, yeah, because humanity has to develop, doesn't just develop overnight. But all right, so 22 centralization. Hey, FB3A, what's up? Thank you for subscribing, man. Hey guys. Yeah. And of course the thing is, like, we don't know what happens after we die, yeah. There are a lot of theories there, but again, it would be nice to know what happens. Yeah. Because that would also, like, then you also sort of start thinking about your actions and consequences. Yeah. It's kind of not fair. Because imagine if you knew, the consequences and the results of your actions in this life, then you can understand, everything and do things a lot better, right? And more right. And then as a result, everybody would be a lot happier, So this is kind of crazy to me, I mean, if somebody wanted people to be really happy, they should have given more tools, to be more happy. There would be a lot less evil, because a lot of evil comes from not realizing, things that you do, etc., etc. E5, okay, maybe bishop d2, And because, people going after immediate benefit of the actions, not considering the long-term thing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Today I'm sort of drifting into this philosophical questions. Yeah. I'm just thinking about a lot of things. If the humans were such an experiment, why, not make them better and give them more tools to understand and to analyze and to be actually better? Because the way it seems to me, we're just thrown as an experiment, somewhere, and then we have to figure out everything on our own. That's kind of harsh, Okay. So there are two ways to play it. Let's grab this bishop. He waived the title. No, I have no problem with Magnus quitting the championship or quitting the title. I have no problem with that. Right. Yeah, so there is knight d7, e4, crazy line, yeah? Apparently there is this crazy line. So I'm thinking maybe just bishop d7 instead of knight of d7, developing the bishop, preparing knight c6. That makes a lot more sense. Because, there was knight of d7, there was this crazy line with e4, yeah? That's the line that Kasim played. Yeah, so my problem was not with Magnus quitting his title. I think it was his decision. Nobody should be forced to do stuff, yeah? It's not like it's not slavery days anymore. So that's correct. But when you say you're not going to compete for the World Chess Championship title, and you're not going to defend your title because of that, then it's kind of, and then you play in the World Cup, that kind of makes it completely sort of nullifies your previous statement, yeah? Because by playing in the event which is part of the qualification cycle, I understand it's a very attractive event, but you sort of go back on your words, yeah? So that's what I had a problem with. I had no problem with him, giving away his title and everything. That's fine. That is his prerogative. He can do that. Okay, bishop g5. What do you want to do there? I think h6 is fine. Let's grab this bishop. Yeah, usually they play queen c2 and take, because you allow me to double your pawns, Mr. Vino. Usually white gets a compensation as a pair of bishops for the double pawns, but now you worsen your pawn structure and you don't get compensation. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. d6, f5, d6 looks fine. Right, okay, this it should develop. Yeah, but I can take with a tempo on your knight. Yeah, if I take with the knight, you can play 5, f4, but I take with this. But Boris, if we knew the effects, we wouldn't make these mistakes in the first place, right? I mean, we would spend less time worrying about things, our actions. We would know the result, and we would focus on doing only what is right. Does it make no sense? All right, let's get this knight to a4. Ah, okay, making same point. Yeah, exactly. No, but I'm saying, again, yeah, if we had these tools, if we had this knowledge, wouldn't the life be more, you know, easier and nice and just better for everybody to be like this, yeah? So that is the question in terms of religion, yeah, again. I mean, I remember there was some theory where, but it's not, it has nothing to do with Western religion theory or theology. There was a theory based on the Asian or Indian philosophy that, you know, the human civilization is not the first one, right? So there were previous civilizations, and supposedly in like 5-6 civilizations away in the past, there was a civilization where humans were actually given a lot of gifts, the gifts of foresight, the gifts of other gifts, physical attributes, some say even levitation, yeah, it's telepathy and everything. There was such a story, and apparently that experiment didn't go well for some reason, and the humans were taking away these gifts for some reason. Not sure what happened there. Okay. This makes me wonder, what can you possibly do to have things like this taken away from you? Yeah. I mean, of course, the question actually who managed, who took this away in the first place is very important, yeah. Because that also brings us back to the theological questions. So the problem was bishop e3 with the idea of knight b6. Yeah, so I think b3 is fair, yeah. All right, so bring the knight, the bishop. I want the rook first here. I really don't believe in g4, but who knows? Yeah, g4, g5, keep the knight on e5. Makes some sense, I guess. All right, so queen e7. All right, do we have more challenges? Hey, hello, what's up? Yes, you better your karma. No, obviously it's not criticism of the of the powers that be, yeah, for sure. I'm just trying to understand because some things make sense. Yeah, a lot of things make sense. Some things don't make sense. That's a problem because we don't have the whole picture, yeah. And that's the question. If we had this picture, maybe we could understand everything and the purpose and actually just cooperate instead of having, to go blindly. Yes, we're giving a lot of books and teachings of how we're supposed to live life and, be fair and kind and etc., right? But it's based on faith. A lot of things are based on faith and based on, again, on experiencing things, yeah. And which brings me to another problem, yeah. The benefit of knowing all the stuff in advance would be like you actually can spend the time that you spend on probing and understanding and thinking and imagine you knew all the stuff already and you could just enjoy your time and spend it wisely and beneficially, yeah. But because half of life you are basically spending trying to find what is right for you, yeah. A lot of people, for example, they spend 20 years 25 years learning education, then they go take the job because parents or in society or it seems correct, yeah. And then you realize that job is just not you. Guess what? Does it mean that the previous 20 years you spent doing other things is like fun? I mean, maybe it's fun, but imagine if you knew from the start like this was the right and it would be great and it would make me happy and would make a lot of other people happy. Can you imagine? You don't have to waste 20 years, you just do immediately the right thing and everybody is happy and you have 20 more years to live and enjoy life and do productive things. And instead you have to go blindly about life. Hey Short Ads, what's up? Thank you for subscribing, man. Yeah. Okay. E4 looks correct. Okay, let's bring the knight to A5, D5. Okay, potentially F5 with a threat. Alright, so right now I just want to go for... Actually F4 is very interesting, but then again F5, yeah. F5, take, actually take bishop C4. So F4, F5, take on D5, you play E4, I can even play D6. Take on C6, that's extra pawn, so yeah, F4 is very interesting. I was trying to block the center and try to play for this weakness. Try to provoke black into playing D4. I don't know, so, okay, let's go according to the plan. Let's play F3, it's a little bit passive. Yeah, okay, ideally you need the queen on E1, and then you need bishop on E3, because queen protects this pawn. Queen on E2 creates pressure on this pawn, that's true, to make sure this rook stays here. But, yeah. Alright, Well, I didn't say life is useless. Yeah, definitely not useless. Yeah, life being useless is a wrong statement for sure. It's not very constructive either. Yeah, okay, knight a5. But it does prevent a4. Hits the pawns. Knight is on the rim though, yeah, kind of stinks. But he's a good blocker though, for sure. Alright, grab. No, life is not useless, I'm just was saying, like, I thought there was way to make it better. And because for a lot of people life is a challenge, yes? We agree on that. I think it's a fair statement, yes? For a lot of people it's very hard to figure out where you belong in it and everything. Knight c5 can potentially run into queen c4, I guess. And then there's a pin. I can play bishop e7, which is okay. Well, you know what? Okay, let's castle first. I'm glad that a lot of people here are educated and they understand everything. They understand the right way. But imagine if you don't have education. Imagine if you're born into poverty. Imagine, you know, there are a lot of people on this planet which don't have the benefit that we have, yeah? They always go wondering about life, about why some people can do certain things and some people can do other things, right? That what actually pushes a lot of people into crime and all that stuff, yeah? So, I mean, basically crime, a lot of crime comes out of this economic inequality, pretty much. And lack of knowledge or education, right? I mean, those who have education, we know the fact that, and there have been a lot of studies made, that the person who earns money by actually doing work, right, is more satisfied than the person who just got this money out of nothing. He has no value. But the person who has work and who earns it, he brings value, his life is actually happier, right? But again, that's not really well known to a lot of people. Members of tribes who live in more primitive ways are much happier. That is true. Knight to c5 is the answer to everything. I don't know about that. Do I have a book move? What do you mean book move? But now I can play knight c5, yeah? Because I do have this check. The existentialists and Buddhists all have particular views towards the negative aspects of life. Hey, Bursmith, sounds like a heavy discussion. No, just, you know, today I feel a little bit philosophical. Yeah, we're having, again, this discussion like, you know, life, the evolution, the etymology, not the etymology, but the theology, yeah. Yeah, it just seems interesting. No, but you see, to me, it seems like, you know, we're given this free choice, right? We're given the free choice, and then we're allowed to probe blindly. We're given some hints, right? We're given some hint. Yes, for those who are very into religion, yes, they can say that we have a very clear-cut way of living. Yes, it's been described in detail and everything how you should live and should make you happy and everything. Yes, but for those of us who are not really that inclined to be totally led in this way, who like to keep this choice of having things to do in life and live the life fully like we want, okay, that's the thing, without having all these prescriptions, right? Because every time we like somebody, for example, yes, does something wrong, and it seems like there's always some punishment. Yeah, you did this wrong, immediately punishment. It just feels like so weird, like, don't we want to be happy? Don't we want to live good lives? Yeah, so why should we not be aware of things? Yeah. And again, maybe it's just early. Yeah? Maybe the humans will develop all these tools to actually, to foresee stuff, to understand stuff. It may be correct. Maybe it's just this development of humans maybe is not complete. Yeah, maybe it's just early. We've been on the planet what, like, I don't know, 50,000 years, but things really started moving only for the last 3,000-4,000 years. Maybe it's just too early, yeah. Considering like Earth was 6 billion years old. Yeah, imagine like maybe if we have another billion years, in billion years we can become really, really impressive. I like to believe that. In billion years from now, if we don't kill each other and we can learn, imagine what can happen. Yes, but see, developing countries and the primitive cultures are completely different things. Yeah. Right. No, but you see, the whole purpose, according to the legends, right? The first humans, they had much larger lifespans, and obviously, if you have a much larger lifespan, you have more time to do things. You have more time to, achieve things both intellectually and, in terms of the what is this called? Spiritual, right? You can be more spiritual. So, the fact that those years have been taken away, gives human actually less chance, to become more developed. So my guess is, the humans are given the choice now because based on all this science and stuff, genetics, right? It looks like, we can actually come to this level of self-enlightenment. Maybe that's exactly what was planned all along, And we finally improve ourselves, and then but it's gonna take a lot of trials and errors, It's kind of a little bit depressing, but I just think, like, if people, had this, again, I'm going to repeat myself, if people had this knowledge, a lot of evil things that happen in the world, they would not have happened, And, Anyway, yeah, pair of bishops looks very, very strong here. Especially this monster bishop on f6, yeah. Looks very, very strong. This bishop is kind of bad, but let's not give up on this poor soul. Yeah, it's kind of funny, you know, to call these wooden pieces. Do they have a soul? It's a question about chess, yeah. Sometimes you think it's just a game. But sometimes, you know, I swear there's elements to this game which makes you wonder. Yes, it doesn't mean that I go crazy. Yeah, it's possible I can go crazy also, yes. That is a huge possibility on that as well. Okay. Hey, Norista, what's up? Thank you for subscribing. Well, the reason I was talking about the humans making the real progress is because obviously, you know, Homo sapiens and, you know, we've been around for a long time. But the real progress, for some reason, started only in the last 2,000-3,000 years. The one that we are aware of. I'm not talking about the theory about previous civilizations where supposedly also had a lot of progress made, because we don't know if that has actually happened and that is true, yeah? That knowledge is, we don't have that knowledge. Based on the scientific facts, the only thing we have right now is that, you know, we have the skulls of the ancient humanoid relatives. There is no sign of any previous advanced civilizations, nothing, you know. So, I mean, if there was any previous advanced civilization, I'm sure they would have left something that would, you know, we would discover by now. So the fact that we didn't find anything means that probably there was no such civilizations. Of course, it's just like the human mind is such that we'd like to believe in things. But, you know, we would like to believe in stuff, yeah. All right, so 98 or bishop e8 and then just trade this guy. Well, let's try this one, yeah. 97, because I can play f6 anyway. So, but again, the Homo sapiens was alive for the last 3-4 million years, as you said. Yeah, but the real progress, again, amazing progress is done in the last 4,000 years, yeah. The science is everything. The problem is our planet is getting so changed for the worse that we're kind of killing each other, yeah. Hey Norista, that's a very interesting idea. I like that. That's an intriguing way of thinking. It's very intriguing. Actually, this is an incorrect move. Damn, but okay. Alright, let little pawn go forward. Yeah. Progress is relative. Progress is relative. Relative to what? I mean, one part of the progress is always that it's like some kind of a disaster, yeah? Some kind of a disaster. That's part of the progress. Yeah. Yeah, I was worried about knight b5. Yeah, knight going to d6. So now I can play this move and prevent that little fella from coming to b5. Do we have new games? No. Okay, we have sufficient number of games. No, as somebody mentioned before, like will we be given more lifespan again? And I think it's very, very possible. Yes, I mean, genetics, the field of genetics obviously has huge promises in that, right? Which brings me into question with the theological part, right? If the human lifespan was actually decreased in the past, yeah, as a punishment or something, and now the humans learn how to increase it themselves, what will be the effect? Because I don't want anything bad to happen. I'm a little bit worried about how much punishment the human race can endure. Yeah. There have been already enough punishments. I'm curious, those of you who know, why is this whole idea of sin and punishment, they came into the place? No, Mr. Endemic has to be subscribers. Well, come on, nuclear bomb is old news. Yeah, nuclear bomb is old news, man. We're already way beyond that. Way beyond nuclear. F4, E5. Very interesting idea, Mr. Vino. Trying to use your pieces, yeah? Very interesting. So, should I give my bishop? I think this bishop is more important. So, trading the knight is important. Okay. And I like bishop c3 here. Prevent this bishop going from d4, potentially creating pressure. Because what I want black to do, I want black to play d4, c5, and then his structure becomes pretty bad and bishop gets very nice outpost. Yeah. Also, see, this bishop is a problem, right? Because if you play c5, then this pawn is weak. But this bishop is not really doing anything. He only has to protect this pawn. So I think it's a little bit advantage for white. This bishop protects the pawn, hits the center. Bishop also hits this guy. Potentially there is something here on the king side. Yeah. Yeah, so genetics has absolutely huge potential. I'm not talking about it because I want to live forever. Yeah, nobody wants to live forever, probably. Yeah, but 93 Andromeda, I mean, you should always watch for these things, right? You're not scared of this? Yeah, I would be. I certainly would be. Okay, it's time for the bishop to come home, yeah? Then you take, queen here. No, rook a3, what I'm talking about, just take the pawn, yeah? Take the pawn. Attack the pawn, the rook is closing to the king. Okay. Well, I don't want people to feel bad and talk about things in this chat that they feel like they might not be comfortable about it, so, you know, this seems correct. Yeah, we're just discussing stuff. Yeah, we're not yeah, I mean, the topic of sin is very interesting, always, yeah. It's always very interesting because, yes, you also have that turn the other cheek sign, yeah. But that goes back to the question, like, again, if people knew the consequences, they wouldn't sin in the first place. Yeah, so the existence of God is a huge question, you know. Always, yeah. But let's leave theology aside, okay? Let's leave theology aside. We're talking about the human improvement in terms of what is humanly possible. What is humanly possible? Queen 5 looks correct. Oh, that's such a nice trap, Mr. Magical Intuition. Nice shot. Very nice shot. Completely missed it. And you're just material up. And white is completely winning. Wow. Look how the tables have turned. Very good. Good job. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's perfectly achievable that, you know, with the gene developments and even spiritual development, right, the humanity will be able to, you know, progress, make a lot of progress. But how much time will it take? And will it happen before, you know, there is some catastrophe, yeah? Man-made or not? Because if there is no catastrophe, obviously the humans have this excellent chance, right? Absolutely excellent chance to play a great role in the future. Yeah, this bishop d4. Right, Mr. Martin, this looks pretty good, yeah? Yeah, this looks good for you. Yeah, so bishop d4 and trade the knights. Good job. I'm impressed. Okay. Right. So, given unlimited time, right, and opportunity, humans will reach the point where they can become great. The question is, can we do that before major catastrophe happens? How much time we need? Do I trade this bishop? If I trade this bishop, it's just bloody draw, yeah? So, but if I don't trade this bishop, then your rook goes to e3, it becomes extremely annoying rook. Yeah, if rook gets to e3, it becomes very, very difficult for white to claim anything, because rook on e3 is just amazingly strong, you know? Amazingly strong rook. So I probably have to accept the fact that I'm not better. Just make a draw. Okay. Yes. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know, right? We don't know who is correct and who is wrong, because we don't know what happens to people after they die precisely. Yeah, we only have theories. We have different books, different teachings, which teach us different things, which is very confusing. Like Buddhism teaches us that we reincarnate. The Christianity teaches us that we are going either to heaven or to hell. There is nothing about reincarnation. There are some other teachings which say the third thing, right? So who to believe, yeah? That's first of all. Second of all, that's religion, right? But if we approach it like purely materialistically and from the point of view of science, we get a lot of trial and error. That's how we do it in science, right? You do a trial, you set up a trial and test tube, and you try and see and watch what happens and write the observations and deduct some laws and rules from that observation. Yes, but again, what happens if we come up with something and it just completely blows up in our face and destroys everything? Yeah, no more testing, no more anything. That's the problem with the science. Well, yes. The thing is that, you know, in the Eastern philosophy, there are some legends which talk about people who actually got rewarded with keeping memories of their previous lives. It was considered a reward. Okay. Apparently, there are stories where certain lamas in Tibet, they have actually the ability to read your past lives, which is extremely interesting, right? But likewise, we also have people who claim that, you know, there are certain people that have been rumored to talk about other people that have been gifted the sight of also seeing in the Christendom whether their loved ones go to heaven, to hell. It's kind of weird, you know, very strange, yeah. So when you get older, you know, the good thing is like you have a choice, I think. When you get older and you have to pick your own religion, you can pick your own belief, and you can just, you know, go with it, you know. You don't have to pick anything. You can just go science. Yeah. Yeah, but by the time you become a little bit enlightened, a little bit wise, you kind of get old and you die. Yeah, that's the kind of interesting thing is, all that knowledge. What do you do with it? After watching that movie Lucy, right? We'll remember the advice that he gave. Yeah, he said that, well, you do what every cell does. Yeah, you divide and you share your knowledge and leave it to the others. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's the only thing we can do. Yes, I'm Division 3. No, the thing about reincarnation, right? There is still judgment. I think it's kind of interesting that regarding of whatever religion or whatever thing you do, even in science, right? There is this concept of reward and evaluation and punishment. It's like always there, because if your result is a failure, you're left with nothing. You spend a lot of time, effort, and you reach no conclusion. So the result is a failure, and the failure itself is a punishment. Yes. But in every religion, there is always this punishment thing. There is always somebody who is judging you for what you've done in life, and there is always a punishment doled out. Like in the Eastern philosophy, based on the karma, yes, if you're being reincarnated, it will be reincarnated according to the deeds you've done in the past, and whether you worked out your karma or not. In the Christian philosophy, we are punished, we're being judged for our deeds, right? And again, there is always an element of punishment or reward. So the nothing thing comes from the concept of this order and chaos, right? There is this also a theory of order and chaos, which is an analogy to light and darkness, yeah? Because light is equated with order, creating order of nothing, but because there is a scientific law of entropy, which states that everything is moving towards this most basic element, right? So there is this element of darkness or chaos which likes to take apart the order thing and make it into a disorder thing, right? Yes, there is also that theory. And in that theory, there is no right or wrong, there is no evil or good, yeah? It's just order or chaos. Yes, and in that theory, then talking about nothingness is quite fine, yeah? Because it's just disorder, chaos. Yes, I get that. Well, it's topics, that people are a little bit older, they don't have to, yes, I mean, the economics and the money and the financial matters, they matter, yeah, but in the end, it's the bigger things that matter, right? Because money you're not going to take with you to the grave, yeah, so that's why you need to think about bigger things, which is usually like the meaning of life, yeah, it's a cliche, but it's also, there is certain point to it. Yeah, so I'm just curious, right? If the meaning of life is enlightenment, right? If the meaning of life is enlightenment, then what are we doing as a youngsters trying to go after all those medals, all those achievements, yeah? If they're meaningless at the end. Because by the same analogy, If you don't bring all that money when you die, what do all those titles mean that you win if you're a competitive sportsman, right? I mean, obviously, in that sense, when you discover something, when you spend your life on science, right? Or again, you study the religion and you discover some great concepts there, yeah, it makes more sense, more value, sort of, yeah. So what is the value of playing sports, and what is the value of going like into money business? Money business and finances helps you live out your current life, that's for sure. The sport life, yeah, what does it do? I don't know. It's a question, yes? Well, I disagree that finance people have no soul. Everybody has a soul, yeah. Just when they're thinking about questions. I'm not nihilist. I'm just like to think about things, yeah. Try to make sense. Yes, it's been said many times that humans cannot make sense of it, and they're not supposed to make sense of it, okay? Because we don't have the full picture. We don't have the full picture because we die very fast. So hopefully, the genetics, the sciences will allow people to live a little bit longer, to discover, to live a little bit longer to discover all these life secrets. And of course, the question of the aliens, yes? The aliens. Yeah. Who are the aliens? Yeah. The mythical figures of the past, the angels, the tormentors, yeah? Or there are no aliens at all, yeah? Yeah, there was recently some article in the news which was extremely brief, and it disappeared completely later. I couldn't find it. It was talking about signals being detected from a planet not that far away, relatively speaking, and actually that planet sends the signals. It's not the ones that we send and they echo back. Yeah, it's the ones that actually somebody's sending, and we actually picked up on these signals. And there was this article, and I was like wondering, like, wow, maybe there are others like us, yeah, who are sending stuff and trying to find the comrades in space, yeah. And then this article is gone. Then we can talk about the government cover-up of the aliens stuff, yeah, which is also exciting. And then compare the notes on meaning of life, yeah. If we meet the aliens, I kind of like that concept, I like the Star Trek concept, of humanity not being the only ones in space. There are other civilizations, we can work together, discover things together. Or if they're bad, if they're like Genghis Khan, they like to conquer everybody, then I guess, their way of life, and then we have to survive, yeah. Yeah, I just hope we don't meet the Borg, yeah. Meeting the Borg is not gonna be nice. Yeah, that's one thing, is like, being assimilated sucks, for sure. Yeah. All people get more ignorant, maybe. Yeah. Okay, knight f3. Correct. Looks pretty good. See, my knight on a5 now is terrible, yeah? Absolutely terrible. Terrible. I think h6 has to be played. Knight bishop here. A lone wolf. Wait, who is lone wolf? A lone wolf. Wait, who is a lone wolf? I don't see this person in the chat. Okay, maybe I scared him off with this huge theological discussion. Ah, okay. Alright. Alright, let's go. Alright, enough this theological stuff. Philosophical stuff. Alright, show me what you got against the Dutch defense, which is more concrete. A more concrete thing, yeah. Well, that should be interesting. Because this knight is very strong, so we have to get rid of that knight. Grab, grab. Obviously this. Leningrad Dutch, nice. All right, let's go back to chess. Yep, I hope so. I hope we do meet and actually given a chance to ask questions, not just being judged and shown the door. For sure. Knight h4, this thing is... Alright, Queen g5, castles. Queen e8 and knight c6 instead of c6, I think it's very playable. I haven't analyzed it for a very long time, but with the modern engines, I'm pretty sure it's very playable. But you have to analyze the stuff, yeah? I haven't looked at it in a very long time. You believe in the guy who killed all Egyptian firstborn. Yeah. You know, I'm thinking like why I was even talking about all this stuff, and I remembered I actually accidentally happened upon the internet's news scrolling thing which mentions something about Enoch texts. Yeah, that's why suddenly today I'm very philosophical, yeah. Yeah, I saw this book of Enoch, yeah. My God. Apparently that was a very controversial book also. All right, no more religious discussion, okay? Go back to chess. Chess is a lot easier to understand. So the reason this rook was on a3 is that I kind of prevent him playing king b2, right? But if he can play king b2, that means this pawn is not moving. This bishop is protected. So how do you get rid of this rook? That's a very big question. I don't know. I think this game is now actually fortress, precisely because he cannot get rid of this rook. So keep this in mind, okay? When you play your games, keep in mind these things. That you can be worse, but there's always a chance. There's always a chance that you can find some fortress or a draw. Okay. Did I ever meet Boris Gulko? Yes, I met him. Like, I didn't talk to him much. I mean, the guy is like... So, wait. Actually, I can play for a win now, yeah, because the king gets very active. Yes, I understand your question, because he apparently is very big into the theology and stuff, yeah. Yeah, I haven't spoken to him. I played him a couple games. He crushed me like pretty easily. His understanding of the chess game was way above me at the time. But we didn't play many games. I think I played only maybe one classical, one rapid game. I don't even remember how I did in the classical game. I remember the rapid game because he played actually Sicilian Khan, and he was actually a big influence on me in that respect because he played the Khan defense. I played white and he just crushed me. Absolutely no problem with black. And I was like, wow, this stuff must be good. He can crush me so easily. Probably just activate the queen, yeah? The queen has to be active. Whose players' games I studied the most? Probably it was Petrosian. Because these days you don't study the games of players. These days you study the openings and you study the specific parts of the game, right? You study the endgame studies, you study the structures. That's how you study the openings, because the openings now no longer is the opening. It's the whole transition to the middle game with the understanding of the middle game plans, and often that transition follows into the end game. Okay, it's a whole transition. It's absolutely vital. Absolutely vital. So these days, when you say you study the opening, it means you study middle game and you study transitions into the middle game and end game. Yeah, that's why modern chess is so tough. Modern chess is tough. Rook h3, very interesting move. Very interesting move. I understand this move. Because if I take with the bishop, this rook is pinned, and he can play king b2. That means he's gonna... But we're gonna put this rook, yeah? Because even if you put this rook, which I was thinking maybe you can put it on c7, but rook c2 first of all... Oh, okay. Rook c2, bishop e4, you have king b2, okay. Yeah, but if you put the rook on c7, this pawn is gone, yeah? And then with this compact structure, black's just fine. So, looks okay. Okay. Well, you can give this pawn, you can play queen e1. I guess white has a decision to make. Can you play king h2 here, check, king e8, check. Probably you can, yeah. So maybe just go for a draw. Alright, so knight f5. This is critical position. Critical position for the game. We can take this pawn. We can try to trade the rook, but there is knight e7, a mighty check coming, which I really don't like. And I think we should take this, yeah. Take the pawn because the knight will also help cover the square. What I think of the Nimza Rubinstein Sicilian. Yeah, okay. Those of you who are not familiar, I allow my guys to use the engines in the Simul for the educational purposes. But not the whole game, because there is no purpose in using the engine the whole game. Yeah, rook c2, that's what I was thinking. That was his evil plan. So king f5, he can play rook c7. I'm just curious. Let's do it anyway. Yeah, the whole point of the Simul is, you know, try to teach people, okay? To make it a learning educational experience. If I played this, on the other hand, it is possible, yeah. So check. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know the names well. Nimza Rubinstein Sicilian, I have no idea what that is. Is it like knight f6 second move? I don't recommend second knight f6 move for black at all. Do I allow my title Tuesday to use the engine? No. But because the Simul are run by me, organized by me, and the point is to allow people to have the game as close to the OTB as possible. But obviously, you know, the Simul is overall is educational experience, right? I have no complaints if people won't use the engine once or twice a game. If they complete lost what to do, and they can consult the engine, but they have to understand why the engine recommends a certain move or idea. Okay? Don't you think that's educational? I think that's very educational, especially if you're at the loss of like finding the moves, understanding the position. I think that's a very educational experience. Okay. So probably just queen somewhere where I can hit this guy and get closer to the I was considering check on queen f4, keeping an eye on the square, attacking this pawn. But there is some king g6 stuff which I don't like. Okay, queen d7, queen c8, check, check, hit. That should also work, yeah. So queen d7 looks okay. And if he plays g6, I have check, check like this. So the threat is queen e8, queen f7, take away the square from the queen. h4 looks correct. Rook f6 looks useful. King h6 is kind of useful too, actually. Stops h5, yeah. Yeah, I think king h6 is also good. Rook f6 is very defensive move. Bring the other rook in. King h6 I think is better. So black is now okay. I think this position black is fine. Also white, with the knight getting to the game, attacking the pawns. Yes, not the queen b5, queen f5. That's how you make a draw, okay? Yeah, so I missed a few things in this game. Not bad. Out of curiosity, 95%, not bad. Yeah, out of curiosity. Yeah, so you can play e5 immediately. Or b4 actually, wow. Here. See, it's advantage white, but I had to play bishop e3. And I was worried about that. d5 is correct. And b4 and c4 and white is better. Why? It's a good question. Why does the computer think white is better here? Especially after this move. You ruin your own pawn structure, but you open the bishop and you take away this critical square from black's bishop, yeah? So after f4, the bishop takes care of this diagonal, takes away the square from the rook, and if black takes on f4, this pawn is disconnected. Yeah, this is very interesting. I have serious doubts whether white is actually better here, but let's see it. Bishop d6 with idea of e5. If that bishop is allowed to play e5, that will be a very strong bishop, plus disconnecting the pawn. So the question is, yeah, but if you don't play queen b7, then bishop doesn't come into the game, yeah? What happens if you just ignore things? And if you ignore, then bishop c4, rook a3, rook h3. Look at these pawns, yeah? Taking away critical squares from both bishops. Making these bishops inert. And this diagonal becomes a killer diagonal, yeah? Look at these pawns, okay? This is very educational. Bishops cannot come to the defense. I think it's very educational. So despite this pawn structure, you have superior bishop and clear plan. This is superior structure, but bishops are bad as a consequences. Okay, good stuff. And after bishop c3, bishop d4 is okay. Yeah, the computer takes, no, this is correct. So the computer says bishop d3. I was worried about this. And queen g3, queen trade. Okay, queen trade I didn't think of, but he doesn't have two trades. Rook e8, you must take with the pawn, yeah? Now we have the question, what is this position? And it looks equal, but you need to keep the queens on board, otherwise white king comes and gets the pawn, yeah? Yeah, it's kind of crazy position also. So maybe a little bit easier for white to play because bishop is strong, active queen, potential threats to the king, a lot of weaknesses, yeah? So it's definitely easier for white to play. Yeah, after bishop takes b7, it's just absolutely zero. Black is better, yeah. Okay, makes sense. All right, thank you for the game. Rook e4, hit the rook. Right. So I played this in the past. That's actually maybe a little bit too early. Yeah, no, it's okay. Because your bishop is unprotected, yeah. Karis, okay. Hey, I take back, thanks man for subscribing. Wait, did you challenge me? No? You wanna play? You can still join the Simul. Let me please round out the previous discussion with this song. Oh my god, my wife joined the party. Okay, excellent. Okay. All right. Thank you, dear. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining and putting your, as Americans say, 2 cents. I don't know why this why is this phrase with 2 cents exists. Will be interesting. Will be interesting to understand what 2 cents. Okay. All right, Mr. Sanvino. You feel the danger to your position, yes? Otherwise you wouldn't play this move. Because knight c4 now goes into repetition, yeah? Rook f6, I think you're gonna play something like this, yeah? Put the rook here. Yeah, so I have to play this to keep an option of playing knight e3, closing the rook. Because if this rook gets to e6, I don't like my position. What the grandmasters usually do, they repeat twice. They understand the opponent wants a draw, and they make a third different move if they play for a win. Yeah. Shall we do that? Shall we do that trick? All right, let's do that trick. Will you follow my game against Antipov by absolute coincidence? You managed to challenge me? Excellent. Muzi MKD. I have no idea what you're talking about because I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything that happened beyond yesterday. I have very short memory. Some games I remember, but because they have huge effect on my life, yeah. Like I constantly talk about my game versus Topalov, yeah, or my match versus Kramnik. But apart from these moments, I barely remember any of my games. That's why I remember I told you guys the story when Vasily, we were playing in the French team championship. He was playing on our first board, and the dinner before the first round game, we're sitting, we're like talking about different things, and then he says, like, but Gata, do you remember we had this game with you? And I said, no, I don't remember. And he was like so surprised, I don't remember. Do I remember when I kicked out Magnus? He was so young, I don't think it would be fair to call it being kicked out, yeah. He was just very, very young. He was very young the first time, and we went to the tiebreaks, by the way. That I remember. And second game, and second time, I actually won in the classical time format, because the first game I won, I actually don't remember, it was the second game, it was Petrov. So that was probably something, yeah? Chess games. Oh my god, they're always asking for all these cookies. I don't want any of these cookies. This game I do not remember at all. Oh, this game. Yeah, that was a crazy game. Yeah, I had to make a draw in this game actually. And in the end that was better, yeah. Yeah, that's why I traded everything down, because it was elimination event, that I remember. That was elimination event and I won the first game, so I won the first game playing bird, f4, g3, dash reversed. He blundered something there. And then we played this game. Because, you know, yeah, but it was a crazy game, yeah. I was sure that white was better, but the computer at that time didn't give much of advantage to white, apparently. Yeah, it was crazy stuff. Alright, bishop e6. I don't like to give away my bishop, although everybody before I played this game against Gelfand, and that's why I decided not to trade this bishop, because I like this bishop. Because everybody plays rook e8, queen e7 just gives up this bishop, plays knight c5, knight e4, rook d8, d5. Famous game, Gelfand versus Nakamura or something, where Naka beat him was black. So I played this against Gelfand, actually won that game was black. Because I noticed for some reason Gelfand doesn't play white against the Dutch defense really well. But the next time we played it, it wasn't the candidates, it was a blitz game. He was ready. He was ready, he played some very super solid system and absolutely crushed me. Yeah, I was so shocked. No, I wasn't shocked, I was just so disappointed with my result. Because I needed just a draw in the fourth. Rapid game was white, I needed to draw. I went Sicilian for some stupid reason instead of the London. And at one point in the game I was 5 minutes ahead on the clock and I saw the draw. Bishop takes f7, queen c4, queen c5 is a draw. I saw that. And for some strange reason I decided I have more time. Can I see something? Maybe I have something better. And I started looking for something better, and while looking for that something better, which I did not find, I spent a lot of time and I forgot about the draw. It was surreal. I don't understand what happened. I have no explanations for what happened that game. The only explanation I have was that just God was on his side in that game. That's the only explanation that I have. Yeah, it sounds ridiculous, but You know, when the people say when you fight for the right cause, yeah, you feel like imbued with the energy, right? So I strayed from the path. I started looking for a win in a position where I only needed a draw, instead of just taking a draw, and I got punished. I mean, my only crime was that I started looking for other possibilities, but unfortunate. Thank you, Casual Massacre, for gifting tier 1 sub. Well, that game was played, you mean Rapid game in the candidates in 94. That game happened because there was a Rapid tiebreak and Anand lost a very tough first game with White. I played Scandinavian for the first time in my life, thanks to Jinchashvili's recommendation of playing that system. He recommended that system, he showed me the move order, and Anand knew something about that system because he played correctly. He reacted correctly, but he spent more time because he had to remember. And in the middle game, it was very complicated middle game. I outplayed him. It was kind of, the only thing that was kind of weird about that game was that he played on in the position where he was already lost. He actually allowed me to give him a mate with bishop and queen on the board. Extra bishop and extra queen. He played on with White. You know, grandmasters at this level, they don't play on. But he was probably so shocked that he lost this game, because in the Rapids before, he used to beat me. Like in the Amber, there was a lot of Amber tournaments back then. They specialized in blindfold and rapid chess. So in those tournaments, he would just beat me all the time. And in this game, in the candidates and the tiebreaks, I suddenly beat him and he was so shocked. So the second game, which happened like 10 minutes after this first game, he was still shocked. And that's the result. What happens when you are not ready? Yeah. He just blundered everything. He resigned on. He also played the opening, which he normally doesn't play. So that was actually a good lesson. You should play the openings you normally play, regardless of situation. Yeah. King g8. Okay. King g4. He wants to play h4 still. Shall we give him this pleasure? a4 or not? Copy c4. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, just take the pawn, yeah. Got very close to winning, but could not convert. I think your knight d6 was okay, but you just gave me this chance to take your pawn on c4 and activate my rook. You should not give me that chance, man. You should just activate your rooks immediately. That's what I think. You gave me too many chances, dude. That's it. Also, it was a draw, but you didn't take the draw, yeah? Next time, just take the draw. Because you playing for a win was not... You're just giving me everything was not reasonable, yeah? Okay, h5. And if I play b2, b3, I just push my pawn. If you're playing for the result, that suggestion makes sense. The goal of the Simul though is, because you know, I've been doing the Simuls for a long time now. You guys have always this chance to play another Simul against me. So I don't know. The goal is to learn, you know. So in order to learn, you have not to be scared and just try different things. Just try. It's not a game that, you know, that is life depending. See, I can push this pawn because the bishop is nowhere near the squares. White now has to be very, very careful. Very careful. Probably still a draw, but you need to be careful, yeah. How do GMs maintain composure in tough situations? Practice. That's it. They have and a lot of experience, you know. Everything comes down to experience. Top GMs been playing chess mostly for all their lives since they're 5, 6, 7, 8. And if they're in the 30s, you've been playing chess for like 20 years something, you know. Imagine doing something for 20 plus years. There haven't been situations you haven't been in before. There's only one situation which is very unusual for the top grandmaster. If you've never played the match for the World Chess Championship title and you qualified to play the match, that is a very unusual situation. Yeah, that might bring some, you know, novelty into your existence. Otherwise, everything's just business as usual. Right, a4 to make you think a little bit faster about this pawn structure here. In the endgame, you were not winning, Mr. Manish. With the bishop on d5 and rook on a3, I already thought that was a draw because your a pawn is not going anywhere. Okay. I like the positive feedback on learning. Sure. I mean, didn't our previous discussion on philosophy and theology and everything, and meaning of life, revolved around this very question? Yeah. So one of the things I was thinking about life was that life and a lot of tools that are not given to us is because life is precisely the test. Oh, nice way. This is very nice. Mr. Sanvino, very nice play. Good defense. Wait, you take the knight, yeah? Come on, man. Wait, what are you doing? Alright. It was a fairer sleep. I offer you a draw. Because after king f5, obviously it's a draw, yeah? I like this bishop f5. It's the only move. King f5, rook b8. I have to play rook e1 here, and it's a draw. It's a draw because you just play like this. You keep hitting this pawn. And I can't make any progress. Alright, that's a draw. Alright, not bad. I was pretty sure I was lost around here. The computer disagrees. The computer says I should play knight b7, knight d6, not be scared of this. Oh, so this is actually... Yeah, I was very scared here. I thought I was... Not scared, but I didn't like my position. I thought we were winning, but... Apparently black is fine, but... Queen g5 is also okay, wow. Huh. Apparently not a badly played game. And everything is equal. Man. Wow, okay. I didn't play that bad. Nice. Okay. There's nothing there to play, Mr. Greedy Pants. That game was correct draw. Yeah. So the purpose of this life is that it's a test and see how we can learn, in my opinion, and be ready for the next phase of the game, the big game called life. One big test. Yeah, that could be also true. So, if I'm just curious, for the nihilist person that seems that there is no reason to life, make it the best. What makes it best then for you? What makes this life best? Let's see it. Let's hear it. I want to hear it. What makes this life so best that keeps you going? Right, that is also true. I mean, when you talk about the kids and stuff, my understanding, which I don't imply is correct, my understanding, again, it was part of the punishment process for the previous life. Something that you had to go through because you inflicted this in your past life on others. So it would make sense that you'll feel exactly the same thing in your next life. So you learn from that experience. Again, just a conjecture, okay? Just a conjecture. Yes, but you still have some guidelines, right? You still have some guidelines, the 10 Commandments, right? Sort of thing. Because the problem is that we all know that evil exists because it just exists, right? There has to be no reason for it at all. And they've been known some people who are just evil by nature, and there is nothing you can do to change that. They just like to do evil things, right? Okay, then. Okay, but you make your own rules, right? The reason we bring up evil people is because they obviously too have a right to enjoy their life the way they see fit. And for them, the things that they're doing, they don't seem wrong at all, right? So how do we teach them this is wrong? Right, this is very classic. Oh my god, yeah? You guys see it? It's a very, very old classic Chigorin. My god. I haven't seen this in ages. The good old Chigorin classic. I guess we'll stop this knight f4 invasion, yeah, and then try to do something useful here. Well, that's actually a very interesting question. That is correct, Mr. Moves. That is very interesting. No, that is a good example. Yes, I agree. That is a very good example. The question is also, what is the evil? Is it the ultimate expression of selfishness? Also a very interesting question. A lot of great questions, gentlemen. The definition of evil is when your first account gets banned for cheating and you immediately make another one and you start to do it again. Oh my god. I mean, chess is a great analogy, right? I mean, chess is a great analogy for a lot of things. Yeah, I dig that. Chess is can be an amazing thing. My god. Oof. Yeah. Alright, let's go g4, yeah. Let's go. You know, there was this amazing game before the modern... I played this amazing game, it was like way back in the 90s, okay? Way back. And this was an amazing game. It was about karate student in Japan. So you have a dojo, you can practice and train with your monks, superiors. And later you can go to the big tournaments, and in the end you face all different opponents, and at the end you face yourself, yeah? But one of the things you can do is go to the temple and talk to an old man and talk about life and stuff, yeah? So one of the things he says that, okay, we talked enough, now don't be an eternal philosopher, go do something. Go practice. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess, you know, we talked philosophy, we thought about interesting things. Let's go do and practice some stuff. I think d5 is important. Yes, Mr. Ivanov, what's up? Breathe life into chess pieces. Yes, a lot of crazy actually experiments done in the old times, in the 80s and 70s, right? Even in the 60s, I think that's where a lot of people, a lot of organizations actually put a lot of money and effort into the human psyche abilities, right? They try to develop ESP, they try to develop telepathy. If you guys remember the famous movie The Firestarter, right? Perfect example of the thinking in those 70s and 80s. Yeah, people were concerned and were thinking how to unlock those hidden potential in the human brain and human mind before going to full science mode. Yeah. So some of those experiments involved people and chess, right? So giving them drugs, and according to one legend, one guy actually said that the chess pieces were talking to him and arguing like where they should go. Yeah, that was crazy experience one of the people had. Yeah, and the reason he said that is because they played a tournament between each other and he won every single game, even though he was really average player. Why not knight c5 instead of d5? Because if I play knight c5, bishop moves, and I play d5, he has a tempo to decide what to do with the c4 pawn. And maybe he can play b4 and c5 instead and lock my bishop on f7. But if I play d5 now and I attack his bishop, he doesn't have that opportunity. He has to react and he doesn't have c5 tempo. Mr. Nefedov, it is 12 o'clock at night. I'm sorry, my friend, but it's a little bit late. 80s philosophy, I like those movies. James Randi debunked all of that. Okay. Yes, that is true, but have I been following rapid teams? Abdusator, Duda playing some amazing chess? Nope, haven't been following too much chess for me, to be honest. Plus, I've been fighting my own demons lately. And chess usually takes a backseat when that happens. In the match of Kasparov vs Ponomarev in 2003, how much would I give Ponomarev to win? Chances? 30%? 30% probably, not more. Well, standard king h2, yeah, pretty standard. G1. Yeah, I gave you a little bit too much. I gave you all the rooks and everything, but I'm just curious. What are you gonna do? You know, the Chigorin, they actually put the knight on f8 and f7, put the pawns on f6 and g6. That's kind of one way to, you know, go full defense, you know, deep defense. Duda has a shot to become world champion? Sure. Do I know Alejandro Ramirez? I haven't posted any videos after round 5 because I haven't made any. Sure, I'll post some, I guess. I did today, before the Simul, I did the recap of the final tiebreaks. So hopefully that I missed. Okay. Yep, that's what happens when you miss stuff, yeah? Okay. Well, I guess rook g4, yeah. Gotta go with the flow. Gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Yeah, so the question is, my knight on f5 gonna survive long enough for me to create any relevant threats to black king? I hope. My hope says yes. Rook on g4 looks good, but it's kind of dumb and useless. Don't really like it. No. Okay. It's still nice though, you know, to be able to attack like this. All right, let's bring the rook here. Actually, can I just sack this thing? There's still g6, yeah. H1. Normal. Wait, why even take this? Oh, okay. I see why. It's actually very interesting. Yeah, rook here was a waste of time actually. I should have done this immediately, yeah. Rook h1 was a waste of time. Man. Alright, so I make mistakes. I'm human. I'm human. Not a robot. Grab. And now you play knight c5. So, to say earlier, good evening. Thank you, Mr. Nefyodov. I'll see you. Thunder. Sanvinos, thank you for your donation. BoGD4N, my god, thank you for gifting subs. I take back resubscribe. Nor'easter resubscribe. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Those of you who subscribe, thank you. FB3I2, thanks, man. Okay. No, there's not even queen down, that's true. Okay. Yeah, so whoever asked about Alejandro, I met the guy, I played him for the world chess, for the US chess champion title. We played tiebreaks, okay? I don't remember which year was that. It was very, very strong. So I played him a lot of times in the US chess championships. I played him maybe only once in open tournaments. Did we ever talk? Nope. I always saw him in the company of women. A lot. A lot of laughing, a lot of stuff there. I didn't know what was really happening though. So it's complicated. So it's kind of weird you ask me, because recently I got a message from one of Rex Sinkful's sons. I haven't talked to any of them in a long time. And he messaged me and he said that the whole family is very upset because, you know, the situation about Alejandro is that it's not really the club's fault it happened, because they respect the grandmaster's private lives, and I can understand that. And but you know, people refusing to now admit that, you know, was not really is again, it's a very complicated topic, but I'm just saying the way some people see it, that St. Louis Chess Club is being punished for the actions of one person, despite all the good that this club did over the years to a lot of grandmasters, and both women and men. Okay, and Alejandro and Gareev, right? They both ostracized. They like being excommunicated from chess, pretty much, from US chess, because of this whole situation. It's kind of, I can understand the club. They feel like it's not their fault and they're being punished for it. You know what would be very interesting here is to give you this knight, but I think it's too much. Yeah. So let's just play knight f3. Keep things civil and nice. Alright, so you see, after this exchange sacrifice, look at black pieces. 0, 0 activity. Can't double. No targets, no moves. This pawn is a monster, takes away all the squares. Rooks are like barely hugging each other on the last rank. My god, absolutely worth the sack, yeah? Absolutely worth it. So now white can pick his time when to go for the breaks. This break, and go after these guys with the knight, yeah? Again, very difficult topic. I understand the pain that women went through, although I'm not, as you can see, I'm not a woman. And thank God sometimes I'm not a woman, because, you know, being a woman is very tough. I don't know how you guys think about it, but being a woman was always tough in any era, any age, any culture, pretty much. Unless you are in the Amazon warrior club, which for some reason could be just a myth or some history, yeah? We don't know. So, if we look at women's role in the society, right? Again, it's only very recently, and even the most democratic cultures, women got equal rights only recently. I don't know when in the US we had finally completed the women's suffrage, yeah? I know about women's suffrage is because, I played Civilization game and they have actually this women's suffrage whole thing, yeah? So that was very useful to know. But it was very recently, it only was this year, only this century, last century, right? So again, considering the million years of history of Homo sapiens, thousands years of cultured humans from AD, right? And again, women have been considered as inferior creatures to men. I mean, in a lot of cultures to this day, this is a huge problem. So, it is a very delicate question, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if St. Louis Club should be penalized for something that has been traditionally. If you say that the St. Louis Chess Club ignored this, then the whole human civilization ignored women's plight for thousands of years, right? Should men actually be forced to pay women repatriations? Can you think? Can we then consider that angle, right? If men are judged guilty for all these centuries of past transgressions against women, there is this topic which always comes up in an analogy, right? In a lot of racial American discussions, right? But imagine this, yeah. And again, we entering the realm of theology where there's the topic of original sin by Eve, right? And all effects, why is woman giving birth to the child inside her body, right? And all the pain that she has to go through. And the other things, they could all become quickly relevant and related questions. So I guess, this question they must have known is kind of like saying the whole human civilization must have known how bad is life for women. Yeah. Yes, I think everybody knows. That's why in a lot of civilizations, people always celebrated when a boy was born instead of a girl. Okay. And there have been a lot of practices of an infanticide, right? Where actually children were killed because they were born of the wrong sex. I obviously condemn such killings, right? But it's a well-known thing. So, but if you go and start saying you should have known and you should have done something, it's a little bit of a stretch, I think. Because what was also known is that Alejandro and a lot of women and girls were still talking to him. And if you've ever been to the US Chess Championship, there are a lot of parties. You know their closing ceremonies, their opening ceremonies. And every single event that I was there in the US for the 10 years, Every single opening ceremony, closing ceremony, I always seen Alejandro. He was always in the company of some women or girls, and they were all appeared to have a good time. So to me, it didn't look like there was anything wrong, okay? And the organizers, who are very, very, respectful to the grandmasters, and they want to give grandmasters best conditions, and when they see Alejandro, and they see his entourage, which was, they're all having a good time, how do you know what's really going on? They're not going to go into the girl's brain, and they're not going to interrogate each girl and say, why were you laughing? Are you having good time? Are you having bad time? Like, who the hell knows? To me, it was not clear. To me, he seemed like a decent guy who knew how to have fun. And I'm pretty sure those, organizers, they thought the same thing, because if anything was happening, it was happening when nobody was seeing stuff, right? And if there were no complaints at the time, yes, I recall people saying there were some complaints. But, we all know about cases, right? There have been known a lot of cases where girls were just saying terrible things just because they don't like the guy, okay? The courts have huge problem with that, because it's been a lot of cases. Like, remember there was this famous case even in Europe. There was vacationing boys, and apparently a boyfriend of this girl, during this vacation time in Europe, right? He got his girl drunk, and then he invited all the rest of his boys to have sex with this girl, right? I read the story, it was like ages ago, right? And the big question, was it a rape? Because, she was consciousness and she was okay. She said, she didn't complain anything. Again, it's a different question, right? There have been stories where the complaint was completely valid, and there were stories where, the girl just makes up the stuff. So it's not to the... It's kind of complicated question. Yeah? It's not things like that are not easy. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to, make a judgment, So the club's job is to provide, chess players, and with the chess tournaments they teach, they have a lot of scholastic chess, right? So when they see these girls like having good time with this person, and then suddenly they complain about this person, how do you approach and solve this problem? It's a big problem. I don't think it's easy to solve. And I don't think the blame should be easily laid at the organizers for failing to solve this complicated problem, because they're not, their business is not, solving these problems. And these problems like everywhere. Their business is to teach chess, to provide chess grandmasters and chess players with the opportunity to play chess. Okay? Today we have a modern cancel culture which easily takes a jab at anything that it deems to be wrong or inappropriate or everything. Some of these things are for a good reason, but have to be very, very careful not to mix it like all together and put it in the whole bag. Okay? I think that will be very, very dangerous precedent. So have to take this thing one step at a time, one case at a time, and analyze the problem. Okay. Okay, let me read the chat. I missed things when I was doing my whole speech. You have to realize women talk among each other, first of all, okay? They talk about things like this. But the thing is, you know, again, there is that zone, right, where I don't want to go into this on stream. It's just complicated and very delicate topic. The only thing I would say that, yes, if Alejandro did something against the will, it is absolutely wrong, okay? Because no means no, right? If the woman says no, she doesn't want to be touched, you should stop right there. There are obvious guidelines, yeah? If, you know, and you actually should know a woman's intentions, like before, if it comes even there, yeah? Women in Switzerland gained the right to vote just in 1971. Okay. Alejandro should never have been made coach of the female US chess team. Okay. Have women complained directly formally to the club? Apparently there were some complaints which were not made known. But we don't know for sure. So what happened after most people left the after parties? Yes. But again, you see a lot of things, there is, the thing is like, you know, there's always something like this that goes on, yeah? You know, somebody gets drunk, somebody thinks it's fun, and they decided to try it, and then they realize that it's not as much fun as they think it was, and now they regret it, and they decide, oh, that was not fun, so this was terrible, yeah? So that's the problem, because post-game analysis with Hans Niemann by Alejandro. Yes, I think Alejandro is like, you know, he can be really only the bad, evil person. Yeah, there are some good sides to everybody, for sure. So, as I said, I don't know him well. I played him a lot. Not a lot, I played him a few games, but I'm not gonna judge him like until, you know, he is pronounced guilty in a court of law based on undisputable facts, okay? I'm not willing to cancel this guy, you know, life and career because of that, okay? The expectation of institutional control is reasonable, and that is true, but there is also how much is reasonable, okay? You're against tribal mentality. That's a very interesting statement. American problems keeps getting exported elsewhere in the world. Also very interesting statement. And they went through a phase, don't blame the victim, I still tell them to be careful because nobody will care more about their safety and than me. The world is not perfect. The Americans are the most influential cultural influences. Correct. Americans are there because they generate vast sums amount of money. Interesting. Yes, women talk about each other, especially about the guys, trust me. So they know. Also, you have to realize there's been this thing which is very controversial, but apparently, you know, there was this topic which says that it's a theory, okay? I'm just making a conjecture that I read something a while back that was about possible theory about how the female sometimes mind works, sometimes, okay? And the theory went on like this, that, you know, it's normal for the humans to have to want to have sex, right? On the other hand, you know, the society that frowns upon women to have sex outside of marriage and stuff. It's just very old notions, right? And yet they're still humans, and they still, you know, some of them want to experience it's fun, etc., etc. But at the same time, you know, the society doesn't like, you know, people again engaging this sex extramarital activity or something. So what to do then, right? So one of the theories is that you go get drunk and then you said, oh, I was drunk, I don't remember what happened, right? Then you don't feel this guilt of society of being labeled. You know, there are a lot of labels that society likes to come up with all the time, right? Whether you're guilty or not, there are always labels. So again, it is a very controversial topic, but you know, just make sure that we look at every different angle. But again, if there are proven facts and it is a clearly wrong behavior that should be pointed out, not and that should be actually, you know, spoken out against, obviously. Okay. Okay. All right. So what is this position, right? So king f2, obviously, or go break with e5, yeah? Big questions. Do we need the rook here? Rook goes to e1. I think rook should go here. Actually, rook can go to h1 to prevent g5 at all. But he wants to play this, maybe. Well, g5 is not an option, yeah? But if I play e5, maybe bishop d7. So I need to have an option. What do I want here? Yeah, so rook e1, yeah. Rook e1. And go for e5, knight e6. Knight e6 looks controversial. Okay. Because if I take with the knights, then you just take it, it's straight. If I take with the bishop, you can take here, here, and then check. And you take this, yeah. So I guess it's just trade then. It's just a trade then. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I really don't want to allow this bishop f5 then, yeah. So what are we gonna do about this question? Well, I guess we just don't accept the trade, yeah. Just don't accept the trade, that's all. Take, take, take. I'll just take here. Just play rook e2, yeah. You don't have to accept the bishop trade. You can play bishop e4 or rook e2. I think it's just fine. Maybe bishop e4 was actually more accurate. For some reason, I don't know. Okay, let's see how black plays now. There is knight g5, but knight g5 is met by rook f8. Sure, yes. I think you should keep the bishop on f5, man. You don't have to rush. Because now, without bishops, your rooks are completely paralyzed, yeah? You're just completely paralyzed, man. My God, look at these pawns. Look at these pawns, man. So, this is why you should consider the exchange sacrifices, okay? Yes, of course, Mr. Nefedov. Hikaru no Go, I actually talked about it in my streams, quite a few. I watched it with my wife. I watched it twice. I think once I watched it with my wife, and second time I watched it myself. I absolutely love that anime. Absolutely amazing. So, what is your question? What is there in no chess? What equivalent for chess are you looking for? You watched back in 2003. I watched it in 2016. Yeah. Great, fantastic anime. I haven't watched any anime before that unless I was a kid or something. Yeah. I mean, obviously everybody watched No Pagadi and all those Walt Disney's, yeah. Famous cat chasing the mouse cartoons. Yeah, wait, anime is a little bit different from cartoon, right? I don't technically understand the difference, but okay. Tom and Jerry, right? You love No Pagadi? Of course. How can you not love it? When you have a wolf who can smoke a cigar and look at all the women on the beach, yeah? Okay, sure. Yeah, so very adult-oriented comics. Let's put it that way. It was both for kids and for adults, of course. Yeah. Star Blazer, Saka Space Battleship Yamato. Okay. Okay. All right, small advantage for whites. Small advantage. Because of slightly safer king and slightly better bishop. But that's about it, yeah. If I trade the heavy pieces, my endgame is actually a little bit better. But the thing is, correct, cigarette, of course. Yes, not cigar. Cigars were only for Brezhnev, yeah. And also for the Latin American guys, yeah. Because cigar was a symbol of luxury and decadence, and those famous American novels, right? Where you have characters who love to smoke cigars. Yeah? They're cool, they're manly, and everything that Camel commercials would like you to think. Those famous Camel commercials. All right, what is this situation? Queen f6 looks logical. So let's play that. Okay. Oh, thank you, Mr. Nefedov. Alaskan people like cigars. Actually, I heard that cigars actually do a lot less harm than cigarettes. That's what I heard. I am not sure. So if somebody knows this topic, please. Fisher hated smoking, so did a lot of people. Smoking because smoking is bad and smells bad, yeah? But if you know the story, because Tal was smoking a lot, and Botvinnik, he needed to prepare for that. Assault on his senses, right? Right. So he asked his coach to actually smoke during his training matches. Yeah, I find it incredible stories. Yeah. So imagine the old times, how much you had to go through. You actually had to go through your opponent smoking. OTB game. That was chess pretty much nearly 50 years ago. Cigar less harm because you don't smoke 20 a day. Well, you can't smoke. Yeah, my father was smoking 2 packs a day. Those horrible Soviet cigarettes. My God. You know, when you live with a person like that, it kind of builds in your immune system towards smoking, right? I never wanted to smoke after smelling all that stuff. I couldn't understand why he keeps smoking. So once I tried to smoke, I was like, like the worst thing you can do, yeah. No, Беломор Canal. He was smoking Беломор Canal or something. It was awful. Was GM the train with Yasser made him sleep in his room so if sniper shoots, Yasser dies? Never heard that one. You should ask Yasser in that story, yeah? Cigars give you mouth cancer rather than lung cancer. Ah, okay. You yesterday went to the 40-year anniversary of your chess club and founding members told stories about how they're supposed to have a non-smokers area and smokers area, and they were ridiculed. Yeah, sure. Syphilis killed Pillsbury. He contracted in St. Petersburg. Really? I heard stories about that. Not stories, rumors. Of course, you won't hear the story in a respectable chess book because sex diseases were usually considered a taboo always, yeah? Because it implied your disorganized sexual habit, living outside of a marriage. So, shameful stories were not told in the books. Alright, g5 looks reasonable. Now I like my bishop and I like white king being very vulnerable. Oh, right, okay, because in those days you didn't have those safety devices, right? Like we do have these days. There were no rubber stuff, yeah. No, my culture is shallow. It may be vast, but it's not vast. Come on, it's very specific and it's very shallow. But, you know, it makes me curious, yeah. I don't pretend to be as deeply knowledgeable as Emil Sutovsky or Gary Kasparov. These guys are, now, when you talk about vast culture, these guys are like vast, okay? They're so well read, so well informed, well educated, beyond normal, yeah. Chess players, you know, normally are not that great education, but because you spend all your life on training. Yeah, but you need education, yeah. You need education. But, you know, again, but the problem is like, you know, this Pillsbury problem with women was very relevant problem to even today's again. So imagine if Alejandro was perhaps, right, he had problems with women, right, but perhaps he was not able to find the acceptable social, relationship, right, or marriage. Then what? There are two options. Then it's either abstinence or you go to the prostitutes, right? So imagine then we would have Alejandro pretty much, having risk the same thing as Pillsbury, right? So the social norms in the modern world are very complicated, especially the dating game, the mating game, and etc. Yeah, it's eternal topic. It's like forever. It's natural stuff. Yeah. Remember how like 5 years ago there were popular memes about animals, and the meme said, this guy, this animal, what is it called? He seduces, not that he seduces. He makes much better playful moves than you do, human. I was like, okay. Self-control. That's, I guess. I don't know. All right, I was thinking about centralizing my rook anyway. Self-control. Yeah, there was this famous article that says that humans were not intended to be monogamous by nature, right? It's just not in human nature to be very monogamous. Yeah, a lot of articles. Yeah, pro, con, like everything. In the animal kingdom, perfectly a lot of examples where you have both examples of animals sticking just with one partner for life, but also plenty of examples where animals, they have a number of mates, yeah, let's put it that way. So, like everywhere, there is no easy, clear-cut way. You can always find an argument pro and con, because there's always an example. It would be courses talking about non-monogamy. Why? My wife is perfectly fine. I mean, I trust my wife. I don't fuck around anymore. I've done that mistake before and I paid for it dearly. So I don't recommend, especially if you're married, don't go and try and cheat on your spouse. If you don't feel attraction, if you feel like marriage is not working, just get a divorce and just do it normally. Yeah. Pretty much. Okay. Sure. Well, because, my first marriage, I got married because I had no girlfriends, I had no relationships, I was terrible with my social skills. Okay, so I actually asked my father for help, to get married because, I'll have wife and I'll have no problems, right? Terrible reason to marry, absolutely terrible. But, I knew nothing. in life, I knew chess, but I knew car count defense, but I didn't know anything about women or a relationship. My father did, and he didn't tell me. He just wanted to control me because if he controls me, he controls my my finances. All my winnings, everything goes to family. He controlled everything. If I wanted to spend some money, I had to ask his permission and everything. And usually it was, I didn't want to ask him because, it's like asking a mafia boss, okay? He's always very angry. He's always, he wants things done his way, and that's the only way. So that was terrible. So I got married for the wrong reasons. Of course, my wife got pregnant, and then my child got very sick. And I realized I was in a big mess, and there was no way out. And I was thinking I needed to get more experience and keep the marriage maybe alive that way. But it was wrong. Because there is always something comes up that you haven't considered. For me, what that meant was that I met a woman and I fell in love suddenly, and I felt like the only right way was, is to go get divorced and everything. And I guess it was the right way, but what I didn't understand is that there is a chain reaction, obviously. So a lot of things happened. You don't understand. My father was always a womanizer his whole life. Okay? He was cheating on his wife a lot. And in our family, there could be only one alpha male, and that was him. So if there were any girls who showed any potential interest in me, he made it absolutely clear that he was the first to go. Okay? I had zero voice about that. Yeah, that's the kind of father. Well, there are a lot of other things, but it's like straight out of the. I swear, there are stories like that. He told me stories like in the ancient times. Things were completely different than now. And now I can see why. Yeah, okay. Bishop f5 looks very strong. I did not consider this move. So, well, I still have to play rook d8, yeah? And now I have to pray that my bishop on h3 will not be trapped. Man, this looks pretty scary. Yeah, exactly. They grew up in a different era. He grew up on a different reading material. So he was also he had this different mentality. Those 30s and 40s, I mean, he was born in the 40s. If you guys know the generation that was born in the 60s, in those 50s and 40s and 60s, right after the war, was a completely different, crazy generation, okay? It was absolutely crazy generation. I can't even begin to understand it. A lot of things they did was very different. A lot of norm is very different from now. It has nothing to do with the communist state. I would say it has something exactly to do because of the communist state, because he went to jail. Unfortunately, he went to jail and he had close-up understanding of the way communist system works. Yeah? He found a way around it. He found a way to keep his individual interests. and he understood, he took it to the heart that this world is dog eats dog, and basically he just followed his best interest, what he wanted to do. At the same time, he wanted me, to do what's best for me, but he never forgot his own interest doing that. So that was always this two sides of the story, yeah? Do what's best for the child, but also do what's best for you. Yeah? And sometimes, it meant doing crazy things. All right. Well, that's why I didn't have any girlfriend, because no sane girl would agree to a proposal like this. I mean, there were a few dates I had. After that, I was obliged to bring the girl home and to introduce her to my parents, where, there was a direct discussion of what was allowed, what was not allowed. There was indirect discussion, and again, my father was the emperor in our family. He could do whatever he wanted. He was an emperor, absolute power. Okay? You have to understand that. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. Okay? No, Putin would not get to that point. I don't know, okay? I don't know anything about Putin, so I cannot say anything. I can tell you about my father, because that I know. All right? As I said, he was an absolute monster, and again, threats to my life were constant and present, showing of the gun, keeping the gun in the house, just to be sure, we got the message. Then, all those incidents at the tournaments where, the threat to my life was constant. After every lost game, it was always like, what are you doing? Yeah, why are you playing like this? You're making my life worthless. I made you a champion, not a loser, etc., etc. Okay? It's either a knife or something. It's always, shown and threatened to be used. Okay? And, I think I told you guys about my experience when I was a kid. The only time I complained to the authorities was in Russia. I went to the high school director and I said, my father does terrible things. He beats me. I have no choice. Can you help? And he went and spoke to my father. And after that, my father came home and he burned my hand to the bone. And he said, if you do that again, I'm going to kill you. I was 8 years old. I was absolutely helpless, and I knew that I was in the hand of the monster, and I knew that I could not trust anybody, and I could not tell anybody. That was the example. You depend only on yourself. You can't trust anybody. You can't depend on anybody. That was the best lesson in life, I guess. Okay. That's why I never complained later in life, ever. So my goal was just to survive, and I put myself that goal, that I will survive whatever my father does, and I will get out of this place and I will live my life the way I want it. That's the goal. 8, because I went to high school when I was 8. Russian high school, it means, 8. They don't have middle school. They don't have. There's only one high school. Yeah. So I was 8. Well, my mom, they divorced when I was just born. Yeah. My mom told me later stories like how he threatened her and her family if they don't give up me. Yeah, he threatened to kill them all in terrible manner, by the way. So yeah, that's the story. Good old dad. Okay. Okay, so I see I can make a draw. Wait, is it a draw? Check here, check here. Have only one check. Okay, it looks like a draw, yeah. Okay, so let's make a draw. Because I don't think I can win this. Not with a bishop close like this, so probably a good idea to make a draw. So grab, queen e5, yeah. Okay, the reason queen e5 is because, you know, control a lot of checks, squares, also attack this pawn, and create this diagonal check threat. Most importantly, control the squares. Yeah, so, you know, the thing is, you know, fear is the weapon that oppressors usually operate with, okay? Fear is a terrible weapon that they know how to use, and they use it absolutely. Yeah, it's just, you know, pity that, you know, there are people like that who use, you know, helpless kids, powerless kids. You know, when you're a kid, you have zero power, you can't do anything. You know, there are people who abuse that. That is that is the only thing. Well, the thing is, you know, it's different. He got all my money anyway. Okay, not the entire money, but the entire money that I earned from that time of period, from 89 to up till 2000. 2000. When did I graduate? I graduated. Okay, I left home when I was 29. So from 2000 until not 2000. From 1990 until, you know, I quit chess, and pretty much he controlled all that money. Okay, so he controlled all that money, and you know, that World Chess Championship money with Karpov, all the sponsorship money, everything. He controlled all that money, and when I left the house, I asked him one time sum from that money. And after all the calculation, he said my third part, because, you know, both his wife and him, they did work, etc., etc. You know, they raised me, they used a lot of money, and they gave me $150,000 from all those, everything, money that I had. It was incredible amount of money, obviously. But because I just started living my life, I was young and stupid, and that money was gone because I gave away a lot of money to my relatives, family, wife's mother and father, etc., etc., and it was gone like in 1 year, okay? All that money was gone in 1 year. What can I say? Yeah. Because I had zero education about investing, I had zero education about finance, I had zero. I was just happy I managed to get out of my father's home. I was free. And, you know, yeah. So he still got all this money, he's got like millions, you know, I don't care, you know. As long as he doesn't try to, you know, do any crazy stuff, you know, as long as he stays out of my life, I feel, you know, it's fair deal. That's fine. He has his millions, let him live, whatever. Go to bordellos if he wants to. It's amazing. He's like 75, 76, and he still, you know, thinks about sex so much. Last time I spoke to him, he was talking about girls. I was like, okay, man. No, he hasn't killed anyone. He was thinking about doing some crazy things long time ago, but I'm not gonna talk about that. Okay. You have friends in their 70s, yes, and they're still horny. I believe you. I believe you. Yeah, so, yeah. Okay, winning, I don't care about winning, man. Yeah, just surviving, okay? Surviving. Survival. What do we do? Survive. All right, gentlemen, was that the last game? That was the last game, yeah? Okay. The World Cup tiebreak, Magnus's Prague was incredible, 200k live. But you know what? I suspect out of those 2k 100 live, the number of Indians was probably 90%. Okay? I mean, for India, 200k is nothing. Okay? I mean, in a country with a population of a few billion people, I mean, what is 200k? If they said 1 million people watch his tiebreaks, now that would be a little bit more impressive. Okay. Is Pasky still with us? I'm not sure. Last I heard he was in Kalmykia, living in Lista or something. He returned to Russia after all his years in France. I don't know why. I'm very curious, why did he return? I don't think it's a matter of relatives, because I don't think he has any relatives alive yet, but I'm not sure. I already went over the game. At the start of my stream, I went over the game between Magnus and... so I'm gonna put this video on YouTube so you guys can go over the quick recap. It was like in the first 10 minutes of the video. Okay. So that's it. That's it. Thank you guys for staying. Yeah, today I spoke a little bit, unfortunately, too much, I guess. But, you know, I think it should be a warning to the parents. You know, you should actually think about what you do and how you raise your kids, how it affects them, okay? Just be a warning, because, you know, you don't want a broken child who has eternal and constant nightmares. I still have nightmares about my childhood, even now, okay? I don't wish that to anybody. All right, gentlemen. I'll see you guys probably. So we have the rapid event on Wednesday. I'll show you which rapid event. This Champions Chess Tour, Julius Bauer Generation, and I play. There is a schedule. There is Division 3, that's what I play. Yeah, I play... Who I play, actually? I play... Oh, I play this guy. I never played him before. This Greek guy, yeah? Apparently he is very talented. So I play this guy. We also have Kramnik in our section, yeah? Blue Bomb. Giri is... Giri, this is Division 3. You see how strong this tournament is, okay? This is Division 3. There's also Division 2. And of course you have younger guys there, pretty much. Except Dreyev. So, Aronian, okay. This is Division 2, and then we have Division 1. I play in Division 3, which is like the smallest amount of money. And we have also Carlson here, Kurana, Lazavik. Lazavik is here because he won Division 2. in the previous event. Kabadyanov. So, but we have this fantastic match coming up. Adusatoro versus Firuza. Absolutely fantastic. So this is going to be an amazing Division 1. This is the second to the last event. After this event, there's going to be only one more event like this. And I love these events. Amazing. Yeah, the only thing about this I had problems is the format, because you have this play-in. Play-in is a huge Swiss, okay? And after you play play-in, immediately after this tournament, you play a qualification match, which is completely unnecessary. And based on the results of this qualification match, your whole result here could be eliminated. Because there was a tournament here where I finished in the top 8, and if there was no qualification match, I would be playing Division 1. But because of this qualification match, I played Aronian and I lost to him, and I went into Division 2. And I was very pissed off. Because, you spend many hours playing this event, you're trying your best, and then suddenly you have to play one more match, which just completely nullifies your previous performance. I mean, like, why the fuck we're playing this tournament then? Just make it knockout and then that's it. We can finish early, go home. All right, that was my only problem. But otherwise, I love these events because there is 10-2. The time is nice. The time control is 10 minutes. You have 2 seconds increment. 2 seconds is much better than 1. Okay, it's much better than 1. That means I still have time to think. All right, but this will be on Wednesday, and I can't stream this. So you guys will see me on Tuesday for the Title Tuesdays, okay? Hey, what's up? Do you work outside of chess? Is chess all I have? Chess is all I have. What do you think of the World Rapid Championship? I think it's a fun idea. Spassky still with us? I think so, yes. Do you see a therapist? No, I don't see a therapist, but I've seen the work they do, and I feel like, they're expensive, right? Therapy is expensive, and you can't expect results. Like my brother, he didn't live with us. He didn't experience the childhood trauma of living with my father, but he met him quite a few times in life. He came to visit us sometimes. After those visits, he was traumatized enough that he had to visit his therapist for a few years, okay? And he didn't meet my father much. Well, granted, last time they met, my father actually put a gun to his head and said something like, that was crazy, okay? But maybe crazy for everybody else, but not for me. But my brother was very surprised, and I can understand. Okay. The last time I saw my father was probably last year on Skype. We only talk on Skype. I don't want to see him in person at all. He is completely unpredictable, very dangerous. So I don't want to see him. And he's always complaining, and he's always unhappy, and he's always treating us like shit. So nothing changed, But probably that's his problems, because he didn't have an easy life. Let's put it this way. He didn't have an easy life. He had to fight for everything. So again, different generation, different understanding of life, different teaching. Okay. All right. How is it possible he didn't have 1,000 legal problems? He had. But when his wife was alive, she was an attorney. She helped him. But, living with my father costs you. She died early. She got cancer, unfortunately, and she died early. She was like 42 something. Very, very early. Okay. Story for a movie. I'm afraid it will be a very, very dark movie. yeah, it'll be way darker than Silence of the Lambs, way darker than anything else. You know, life can be crazier than any life, any fiction. Okay, so not really. And the thing is, we don't want to invite any more monsters or copycats, because imagine, things you can teach potential evil people, you can teach them even worse tricks. You don't want that. Yeah. All right. Right, Mr. Greedy Pants. Right. I also know I have this violence in my genes, so that's why I also had to stay away from some of my kids, because I noticed in myself how easily angry I get. And of course, guys, you see me on streams, right? I play Title Tuesdays. I meet a suspicious cheater. I get so explosive. I lose control. Yeah, and that's the problem, because I think it's genetic. It's genetic predisposition. Obviously, it depends a lot on personal self-control and everything. But I think it's also genetic predisposition. So hopefully, such super aggressive people, apparently with some extra Y chromosome or something, there are such people exist. Yes, can be trained, but you can also lose it. Yeah. Anyway, guys, it's 1:20. I'll see you on Tuesday. So I bid you all good nights, and I'll put the video on YouTube probably tomorrow. So if you missed the recap of the World Cup final, you can see it, watch it. All right. If you haven't watched any of my channel videos, go to my channel. It's like on my page. Yeah, there are some buttons. You can click on YouTube, and it will put there. All right. Okay. Thank you for staying. Thank you for watching, and I hope I promise my streams won't be all this long about non-chess stuff. Yeah, today is just kind of crazy day. I don't know why. Yeah, yesterday I went into this book of Noack. Like somehow I started reading this. When I was younger, I was curious about the teachings, the everything. I read the Bible, then I wanted to read what's not in the Bible, why certain sections of the Bible were not accepted, and of course a lot of questions. Each question, if you go, try to find answers, makes more questions. It's like it's complicated. Yeah, it's always complicated. Life is not easy. That's something I think we can all agree on. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'll see you on Tuesday. Okay. Yeah, because the old Bible is very different. Yeah, the old Bible is eye for an eye. It's like very, very bloody, messy, vengeful, everything. It's crazy. All right, guys. Good night.